I can look at all of these policies which are going to be due at different times depending on when they were started over here in this tab. And then what this N8N system is going to do is it's going to look for the one that is 60 days away. So in this case, what we should be expecting is only one coming out. And then we're going to pull in that information. So as you can see, we have scheduled the trigger here. It is checked that there is one that is over 60 days running. It's going to execute all the modules. Now it is reading the specific data, and then just like that, what the AI does is it sends an email containing the report that we've pulled in from that policy with the context of the actual report itself. So we've read that report and we've included it in our email. What I'm about to share with you today is something that no one in the insurance space is talking about. So if you're in the space, listen up. I built an AI system that automates the entire pre-renewal process, and today I'll show you exactly how I did it using N8N so that you can understand it and then download the templates using the link in the description. I'll first show you a full demo and then we'll dive into the build. So let's get into it. Alright, so just to show you a bit of context, you can see that I've built a CRM here in Airtable that kind of has the clients on one tab and then the policies on the other. And if you notice here, one client can have multiple policies. But if we go to the policies tab over here, we can see that there's only one client per policy. And the reason why that is because we track each policy individually within all these different products over here, right? So what I can do here is I can look at all of these policies which are going to be due at different times depending on when they were started over here in this tab. And then what this N8N system is going to do is it's going to look for the one that is 60 days away. So in this case, what we should be expecting is only one coming out. And then we're going to pull in that information. So as you can see, we have scheduled the trigger here. It is checked that there is one that is over 60 days running. It's going to execute all the modules. Now it is reading the specific data, and then just like that, what the AI does is it sends an email containing the report that we've pulled in from that policy with the context of the actual report itself. So we've read that report and we've included it in our email. And if we go into our draft emails here, which is the account that the emails actually get drafted from, we have an email here waiting to be confirmed for this Blue Horizon AI team, which the AI has read the details of the cybersecurity policy, so it knows what policy it is. And then it has attached that exact document from our Airtable into this email for us to review, make any changes, and then we can just send that copy to the client and make the first contact for that pre-renewal process. So just for a bit more context for you to understand the huge benefit of this that we are seeing, it's something that we're actually rolling out exclusively for our insurance clients within Blue Horizon AI. So that's my AI agency. So if you are in the insurance space and you'd like to see a more advanced version of this in action within your business that adheres to maybe a more advanced use case, then you can feel free to contact me using the booking link in the description. I'd be more than happy to have a talk to you and see how we could help in any way possible. So essentially, if you haven't picked it up yet, what we're doing is we are looking at this huge database. We've got a whole bunch of client information. And then upon us having, a daily check to see who is due for their pre-renewal process, we can then extract their email and also the exact form containing their policy, which is what we read using AI. And then from that, we can contact them to make that initial contact, right? So using email, that is how we are able to do that, okay? So a lot of this actually happens on Airtable, which will make it easier for me to explain. But essentially we have these two tabs here, right? So first are the clients, and really what I want to touch on here is that one client is able to have multiple policies, but each policy can only have one designated client. And the reason why we do that is because we have the contact information from the clients on one tab, and the policies are all going to be checked individually to see when their renewal date is. So we can see on the clients here how many policies they have, and we're referencing each one of these from this tab over here, so the policies tab. And I have all sorts of details here to make it look better. So the total policy is obviously 2, and the policy types are cybersecurity and liability. So all stuff that we can mirror from that policies tab over here, okay? And the one that we just pulled in was this first one here, so Blue Horizon AI, that has my personal email. But if we did any other clients over here whose policies were going to be due, so in this tab over here, then we could have pulled in their information from this tab as well, and then you would have seen the exact same result. But as you can see here, each policy has one designated client, and we have them distributed in different tabs here. So this is where all of this policies kind of lie. But if we just want to go into cybersecurity, then these are the specific ones for cybersecurity. The way I did that is just filtering through policy type, okay? and then the same one for liability and general business. That's pretty much how they work. But if we go into all, we can see all of them displayed over here. Then we have the start date, which is essentially the start date that this was filled out for them. And what I have here following, so these kind of go together, which is a formula that automatically puts the renew date 365 days after the start date. So this is an automatic 1 year in advance. So you can see if I manually change this to the 26th, then the renewal date will be changed to the 26th at the same time, okay? And you can see what also happens is if I put it a day forward, over here on the days until renewal, we are going to be adding an extra day. So before it was 60, now it is 61, because that is interconnected to the difference between these two as well. And then over here, we have the policy attachment. So this is everything regarding the policy that we can just chuck in here. The AI will know exactly what to fetch and extract from this document in the automation that I'll show you in a second. And then from this client tab, we also know which client to extract the information from in the clients tab over here. So this way everything gets interconnected and we can reference different data points without losing ourselves, right? So that leads us to the NA10 automation. So we have a few things to go through over here. So obviously we have a schedule trigger, which obviously you can schedule to any time you want. It'll check specifically for the Airtable records that are equal to 60 in the policies days until renewal tab. So this tab over here, it'll check specifically for those who are equal to 60. If not, it won't return anything, and then the automation won't run. But from that last run, we can see that we did extract one, and this was the output. So that one single record that contained all of this data for us to fetch and then just do stuff with, really. And then over here, you can see that when we reference the client, we come up with an ID that we can see within here. So this doesn't actually become Blue Horizon AI. This just becomes a record ID that we can then fetch from the clients tab itself. So what we do here is, here's a confirmation here that the pre-renewal was going to be in 60 days. But then after we go into the get record, we're getting the specific record, but not from the policies tab, from the clients tab. And we are referencing this record ID here that we received from that previous node. Once we do that, we get the information now from the client themselves, not just the policy. So now we have both things that we need to actually send out the email. You can see here we've got my email to be sent out to. All of the policy types, the phone number if we want to text them or something as well. Made it very complete. What we're doing then is we are searching that for that particular file that we have uploaded to Airtable, okay? So we are going into policies, and for this policy attachment, we get the file name as a output of that, search function. So then we are getting that PDF. In this case, it's Blue Horizon AI Cybersecurity PDF, which has been locally, inputted into my computer. We are fetching that, and then we are doing two things with it. So now we've branched off, and we are doing a few things with that. The first thing we do is we download it, because this is the data that we are going to be attaching in our email itself. So this one is just downloaded and then inputted into the email here as to be sent as the attachment. And then following that, what we are doing is we are downloading this OneDrive, and then now we are extracting that data from it using the extract from file node, so that the AI can read all of this and then create an email regarding this policy that we've just read, okay? We've got a user message actually displaying the policy info, and that is just a reference of the text that we get from the extract from file node. And then after, we have a few different messages here. So firstly, the system message is saying you're a helpful writing assistant. And then over here, we have a user message saying your role is that you are an expert pre-renewal assistant for One Insurance who has a knack for crafting professional emails. The task is to review the policy information for the client's pre-renewal and generate a draft email containing personalized information about the policy, and then ask them to review the form. So we are then letting the AI know that we are attaching that as at the end of the email. In the specifics, we keep the email content short. We mention their policy to keep it personalized. We ask the recipient to review the information to get back to you, and then always sign off as Alan. If you saw in the email before, we have signed off as Alan as the example. We are also including a relevant subject line, and I'll show you how we do that in a second. And then we output everything in JSON. The reason why that is because we are wanting to map different parts of the data in different sections of the email. So this, for example, is the subject output, which is simply the subject that we map dynamically into the emails field later on. And then this is the email content, okay? So if we merge all of these two, so this is what this node is doing. We merge the actual attachment and then the actual email content. We put everything together in this email node. The subject line will just be the output of the AI response over here, and then the email content will be the markdown data that we put over here just to structure it a little bit better. So we are just referencing that data. We are sending it as an HTML, and then obviously the data, if you look over here, we are outputting the merge node as binary data. So this is the attachment, and all that we need to do here, instead of mapping it, we are just referencing the name of the attachment field. And of course you can see the name of it here as data, and this automatically appends the file or the report as the content of the email, so the attachment of the email. And then just backpedaling a little bit over here, what I want to touch on is a few key concepts. So we're using the Anthropic chat model simply because it writes better than ChatGPT. And over here, the second thing that I put over here was the alternate nodes. So obviously I'm using OneDrive to download all the attachments and then Gmail to send out the email. But you can, just be aware that you can use the same thing for Google Drive if you have everything in Google Drive instead of your own computer. And then in the same way, you can send everything from Microsoft Outlook as the email host instead of Gmail. So then you would just replace each of these nodes over here with the ones that I've put over here for you. And then everything should work in the exact same way, okay? So as mentioned before, everything has been templated for you and you can access it using the downloading link in the description. Feel free to comment down below if you got any questions about the build. Other than that, I hope this helped.